WRAL, coverage you can count on.
In the dark this morning, as more than 26,000 homes are right now without power in Durham. What caused this and the work to get power restored before the heat rolls in?
Definitely hoping for that as the heat does start to roll in today, heating up with temperatures in the mid-90s, but a full-on heat wave for the holiday weekend. An update on how many days could hit 100 degrees and when that heat wave crashes.
Boy, that humidity just does not want to let up. It's all right, though. We're going to get through this. Cooler days, hopefully, will be around the corner. Thanks for joining us here on this Wednesday morning on WRAL News. I'm Chris Lovingood. Handing over to my friend Chris Michaels over there, tracking the morning start for you for your morning as you're beginning. And Chris, again, the humidity's high, the temperature will be high. We got to get through this, though. Yeah,
you're saying hoping for a cool down. I'm thinking sometime in November, right? That's usually how it goes around here. All right, we start with the top of the tower lit in blue thanks to the clear sky that's overhead. Temperature right now, 75 degrees. Dew point at 66, so it's a little on the muggy side, but it could certainly be a lot worse this time of year. Clinton, Goldsboro, good morning. You're at 68 degrees. Fayetteville, Rocky Mount, 70. South Hill at 74. So no matter how you slice it, a warm start to the morning. And things are going to be heating up throughout the day today. So by midday, could be approaching 90 degrees in the triangle. High temperatures today in the mid-90s. Humidity is not to a point where the heat index gets to like a dangerous level today, but that could start to change starting Thursday and heading into the holiday weekend. We're going to show you how many days could hit 100 degrees and what it's going to take for that heat wave to crash, when we expect that to happen coming up. Chris?
All right, sounds good, Chris. We'll see your full forecast in a bit. Let's get back to that breaking news because right now, nearly 26,000 people are without power in Durham right now. Ali Kadlabar is checking out that situation in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. Ali, we were in our morning call talking about this. We had said, wait, do you mean 2,600? No. 26,000 people right now.
Yeah, Chris, not the ideal morning. You would want to be without power because of the heat. But we did just speak with Durham Fire, who was on the scene. They did say that a tree fell on a main power line, and it's actually wedged back behind all of the wooded area here behind these homes. This is Bridgewood Drive, and you can see there are two Duke Energy crews out here. We just watched them within the past 5 minutes go behind the home, through the woods, and then to that main power line there. Again, a tree falling on a power line in the back here of Bridgewood Drive. We do know 26,000 customers are without power, mostly south of Durham Freeway. We also know that there's not a cause listed on the Duke Energy outage map of what started this outage, but again, we did just confirm with Durham Fire that a tree fell on a power line. Now, we are working to find out when the power will be restored. Again, 26,000 customers without power. A lot of traffic lights that we were passing through off of Fayetteville Road, especially, without power as well. So, of course, we are staying on top of this throughout the morning, keeping you updated. Reporting live in Durham, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Well, today, the state's $34 billion plan goes to its first votes in the General Assembly. Let's go out to Kelsey Coffey right now. She's reporting live on that story outside the legislative building. Kelsey, this plan, it promises raises for all state employees, including sizable bumps for teachers and law enforcement officers.
Yes, Chris, it does. This morning, state lawmakers will walk here inside the legislative building to wrap up the voting process. Now, this budget is a whole year behind schedule. Here's some of what you need to know. First, state employees would receive a 3% raise, and public safety jobs would get an even higher pay bump. Teachers could get an average 8% raise, and teachers and other state employees could also get a one-time bonus. This pay increase won't be retroactive for the current fiscal year. It would begin in the next fiscal year, which starts today.
I would like for them to be retroactive, and so we ultimately got the one-time bonus for it, and I hope we continue this path of making sure we're keeping up with the market on teacher pay.
That was House Speaker Destin Hall. So for now, what happens next? We're expecting state lawmakers to finish voting today and tomorrow, and then from there, Governor Josh Stein will have 10 days to either sign it, veto it, or allow it to become law without his signature. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And folks, you can stay with WRAL throughout the day as state lawmakers prepare to vote on that budget. Tune in for updates in our evening newscast starting at 4 p.m. Well, 3 people are injured because of a crash involving a Go Raleigh bus, according to authorities. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker on Capitol Boulevard and Hodges Street just after 8 last night in Raleigh. Police say that a car pulled out in front of the bus and the driver of that car was taken to the hospital, but they are expected to live. And 2 people on the bus also had injuries, but they were minor. The data center debate, it is growing here locally. Last night, people in Person County had the chance to express their concerns about a Microsoft facility that's planned in their community. Dozens of people packed a community meeting at Piedmont Community College. Representatives from Microsoft were there to answer questions about what's going to happen on the 1,300 acres the company now owns. That's near the Virginia border. Some people say there hasn't been enough information shared about what data centers themselves are. That's despite towns and cities across the state passing moratoriums on data center development.
My biggest concerns are the environmental impacts, the water usage.
I want to see and find out from Microsoft themselves how they are going to benefit our community.
Now, Microsoft says it will use technology at the future data center to help reduce water usage. It also says it will take steps to limit the impact on power bills for people who live nearby. The company plans to hold more meetings about this as the process moves forward. And you can watch our previous coverage of data centers on the WRAL YouTube channel. That's where you'll also find all of our stories about how they work and the effect they could have on the water demand. Just search data center. Jury selection will resume this morning in a high-profile murder case in Durham. Attorneys have spent the last 3 days picking jurors in the case against Darius Tyson. He's the person accused of killing Sean Burton. Burton's been missing for years, and a body was never found. Prosecutors say, though, there is enough evidence to garner a murder case, and 2 other men are also charged in that case. Well, we're hearing from the leader of the Lumbee tribe 1 week after a major vote on a gaming amendment. A majority of tribal members said no to a measure that would have cleared the way for a casino along I-95. Tribal Chairman John Lowry spoke at last night's State of the Tribe address in Pembroke. He acknowledged that the split among the members in last week's result, and he said last week he wouldn't bring up the casino again for the rest of his term.
I heard what our sister said after the election, and while I would not initiate the effort again, if the Lumbee people decide to reconsider gaming, I will work with the tribal council to carry out the will of the Lumbee people.
Lowry also celebrated the tribe's official federal recognition last year. That gives the tribe greater access to federal money. Lowry presented a budget plan last night that is $11 million larger than last year's. Well, it looks like the clock has started for millions of Americans who owe on student loans. Starting today, the federal government is phasing out repayments under the SAVE plan. Borrowers using the SAVE plan will start getting notices that they must switch their payment plans and find a new one within the next 90 days. This could raise many people's monthly payments. Experts who work with borrowers on a regular basis say people are a bit confused and concerned about what to do.
Once we return to repayment after the pandemic and after this SAVE forbearance, we're looking at what we're calling a default cliff, where there are going to be a ton of people whose addresses have changed, who just didn't get the information, who have never had to repay before, who are not going to have the tools that they need to make sure that they can repay their loans, and they're going to be in defaults.
Now, if you don't choose a plan within the 90-day window, you will automatically be placed in the standard repayment plan. You can actually learn more about what to do if you use the SAFE plan on our website, WRAL.com. North Carolina's drought, it is not improving despite recent rain, and our water reservoirs are very low. Falls Lake, for example, got nearly 2 inches of rain in the last week, but the water supply remains the same, 64%. Falls Lake is Wake County's largest drinking water source, and many communities, including, yes, Raleigh, have enforced water restrictions. City leaders have handed out violations to 111 people so far, and we expect an update tomorrow on the statewide drought monitor. Well, it looks like state lawmakers are moving forward with a bill that would change some of North Carolina's election laws. The State House of Representatives passed a bill that would change rules for voter registration, campaign finance, and how elections are conducted. Critics say, though, that the bill is unnecessary. Supporters say it would improve the efficiency and transparency of elections. The bill must pass the Senate, though, before it can go to the governor. And lawmakers are also moving forward a bill that would eliminate taxes on tampons, diapers, and baby wipes. The House of Representatives passed this bill unanimously last night. The bill still needs support from the Senate before heading to Governor Stein's desk. Taxes on those products generate an estimated $50 million for the state, but the bill's sponsor wants to lift the burden on women and families. Well, a perfect storm of challenges in downtown Apex has some business owners considering closing their doors. Their landlords are passing on an increase in city taxes and increased insurance by raising rent. Well, that's on top of the hit businesses are taking from a downtown construction project. Owners say the struggle, it is real. The Alleyway Bookstore announced it will close its doors after receiving a significant rent increase.
And then he sent the number over, and it was 64% more than what we're paying right now. And with the construction out front and our business model, that's just not sustainable.
Well, we reached out to his landlord, who said with higher property taxes, rising insurance rates, and building maintenance, she has to pass on some of the cost. Mayor Jacques Gilbert sent out a letter to both sides asking how they can work together to come to an agreement. Apex businesses, though, are hoping they see an influx of foot traffic this summer that will help them with their bottom line. Your time on this Wednesday morning is just shy of 4:41. Window smashed, a series of car break-ins outside a Wake County gym. One victim recounts her experience and her concerns. Plus, countdown to America 250. Dix Park is getting ready for this weekend's fireworks show. The traffic effects you're going to want to watch for.
And obviously got to watch for the weather, especially when you see the map looking like this all around us. Heat alerts in effect, but not yet for our area. I'm going to show you why that's the case and when the National Weather Service says they may pull the trigger on a heat advisory. 444, it's about to be a busy beach weekend, and if you plan on heading out there today, all up and down the coast, there's a moderate to high risk of rip currents, so just be sure you're checking those warning flags before you head out on the water. Looking toward the 4th of July, that's the place you want to be, is right along the coast in order to avoid some of the high heat. Your oceanfront temperatures all up and down the coast between about 87 and 91 degrees. Meanwhile, if you plan on heading to some area lakes on the 4th, you're looking at temperatures in the triple digits at Falls Lake, Jordan Lake. Obviously, keep an eye on the lake levels this time of year with the drought going on. Lake Norman is going to be at 98. And Carr Lake was showing off last night. Thanks to Ryan for sharing this picture through Report It. Plenty of warm colors there and a whole lot of heat on the way. How many days we see triple digits this holiday weekend in less than 5 minutes?
Certainly love it when people send those photos to Report It, Chris. Well, folks, we are hearing from a woman who was a victim in a series of car break-ins in Wake County. I want to introduce you to Sandy Wilson, and right now this is her vehicle, right? She was inside the Planet Fitness on Carytown Boulevard, and this was Monday afternoon. Well, that's when her window was broken. Cary police say 5 cars were damaged there, and several people reported items were stolen from their vehicles. Wilson says nothing was taken from her car because she didn't have anything inside to steal.
To choose a busy parking lot in broad daylight with security, camera surveillance, people coming and going, I mean, it's pretty desperate.
And she says the break-ins were caught on camera at Planet Fitness. Cary police didn't say if any arrests were made, though. Now, around the same time, Morrisville police say 14 cars were broken into at the Morrisville Aquatics and Fitness Center. Police haven't said, though, whether these two cases are connected. No arrests have been made in the Morrisville break-ins either. Well, looks like the new Air Force One will make its first flight today. Sources say the plane will fly President Donald Trump to North Dakota for an America 250 event. That plane was donated by Qatar, you may recall. The president has described it as the world's most luxurious plane. The Boeing 747 will help bridge the gap between 2 older Air Force One planes and 2 new ones, for which retrofitting will take at least 2 more years. The new plane has also raised legal and national security questions about accepting a $400 million gift from another country. All right, another sign that America's 250th birthday will be a big spectacle. The USS Arlington sailed into New York City yesterday ahead of the July 4th celebrations. This naval warship will be the flagship for the historic International Naval Review 250. It is the nation's largest maritime celebration. The USS Arlington was built to honor the victims of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. It contains an honor room that displays a piece of steel recovered from the crash site at the Pentagon. And we also have a couple of reminders, though, this morning ahead of July 4th celebrations in the Triangle. If you are headed to Dix Park this week, the park is preparing for this weekend's fireworks show. That means you could see effects to the park access and road closures. The big field is closed starting today through Monday. Beginning on Saturday, all park entrances are closed to cars. Please keep that in mind. Downtown shuttles begin from Moore Square at 5:30 p.m. on Saturday, and gates open at 6 o'clock. Now, the city of Raleigh is doing whatever it can to make sure that you are hydrated during the celebration. This is why there will be water bottle filling stations spread out across the big field. Just make sure you bring a reusable bottle. The fireworks show starts at 9:30 p.m. And folks, the drought, it is affecting the taste and even the smell of water. The town of Hillsborough found hot, slow-moving water and an increase in algae upstream of the town's water intake is to blame for this. It says the water is still safe to drink. Teams are increasing the carbon and the filtration process to improve the smell and taste. Go back to the celebration over at Dix Park. The fact that the city of Raleigh is making water available, that is so crucial this weekend. I know meteorologist Chris Michaels agrees this is something that's so important given the hot temperatures, the heat index values. It's going to be a hot one.
Yeah, and you know, the entire reason why we talk about the heat index is because it's factoring in how it feels when there's humidity involved and your body's just losing more water, so you got to replenish that somehow. Temperature 70 to 75 for most of the area right now. Roxborough 73, Southern Pines 71. Goldsboro right now, you're the more comfortable spot on the map at 67 degrees. And as we go through the next couple of hours, temperatures will remain fairly steady in the upper 60s and lower 70s. But as we head into the afternoon, this is when things start to heat up a little bit. We'll see high temperatures, generally speaking, between about 93 and 97. Benson, Clinton, Goldsboro 95. Raleigh at about 96. Rocky Mount, Roanoke Rapids 93 degrees. The humidity still not totally overbearing today, but I mean, come on, mid-90s is still very hot. So definitely be hydrating today, but just know that the heat intensifies a bit more as we head into tomorrow. And that's what you're looking at here. The bright red is your air temperature, the dark red is your heat index, and you see it in the Raleigh and the Triangle area. High temperatures reaching upper 90s to near 100 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Heat index between 100 and 105. Now, once it gets to 104 to 109 is when a heat advisory is issued, which is why for now the National Weather Service holding off, but they said they may issue one for tomorrow, and it looks likely that we would see more of those heading into the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, highs in the upper 90s to lower triple digits. Any little dose of humidity is going to add to that. So that's why we're calling it a heat wave for sure. So if you have any outdoor chores to do, early morning, best time to do that. Midday into the afternoon is when you really want to hold off if you can. Even by the evening, it's a little iffy because it's going to take a while for things to cool off. Overnight temperatures will only be in the mid to upper 70s, but there's a clear sign as to when this heat wave ends, and it looks like early next week. We'll see some storms developing Monday and Tuesday. Beyond that, high temperatures may only be in the 80s. Chris.
Oh boy, only in the 80s. Goodness gracious. All right, thanks, Chris. All right, we're giving you a new look. Timothée Chalamet's animated debut and Mark Harmon reprising an iconic character. Those stories and more in the Hollywood Minute just ahead. Plus, backed by popular demand, the Washington Monument Light Show returns this week. How the presentation will honor America's 250 years. All right, looks like Timothée Chalamet is making his animated feature debut, and Olivia Rodrigo is building her legacy. Douglas Hyde has those stories and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
Did I just make you blush? Oh, Joe, that's adorable.
No, I'm not blushing. I haven't blushed.
I didn't take
ever.
you for a blusher.
Because I'm not.
Here's your first look at Timothée Chalamet's animated feature film debut, Not Alone. He stars as a rocket mechanic trying to help 3 alien visitors get back home. Selena Gomez also lends her voice to the sci-fi comedy, which blasts into theaters next April.
Oh my God, this is so gorgeous.
Olivia Rodrigo is building her legacy brick by brick, literally. She's now officially the first musician ever to get a multi-set Lego collection. The 5 new sets, out in August, feature everything from her signature concert moon to a buildable guitar.
3 decades. It's a long time.
We've only seen little snippets of Mark Harmon as Gibbs in recent years, but that's about to change. He'll be reprising his famous NCIS role in every episode of the upcoming season of NCIS Origins. Harmon will appear in a storyline tied to Gibbs' time at Camp Pendleton in the 90s. In Hollywood, I'm Douglas Hyde.
All right, so it's happening. LeBron James is leaving the LA Lakers. He's not retiring, though. He's actually becoming an unrestricted free agent. James is the NBA's all-time scoring leader, and he has been an All-Star 22 times, and he's won the MVP award 4 times. Some analysts predict that he will go back to Cleveland to end his career, but others say he may just go on to join the Golden State Warriors. Well, starting today, the Washington Monument Light Show is back for America's 250th birthday. Visitors can see the display today, and that's through July 5th. The 18-minute presentation, it showcases the people, the places, the monuments, and ideals that shape the American story. It will be on display from 9 p.m. until 20 minutes after midnight. Just a heads up, over in Johnston County, Animal Services is offering free pet adoptions all month. You can find the animals that are looking for a new home on the county's website. All adoptions are by appointment only, just so you know. Meanwhile, in Orange County, the Department of Social Services is giving away free box fans to residents who need relief from the summer heat. These are available first come, first serve at both DSS locations. One will be allowed per household. Your time is 4:57 as you're waking up this Wednesday, and we are tracking power outages in Durham. We're giving you a look right now at Duke Energy's outage map this morning. We're talking about thousands of people who are waking up in the dark right now. The rush to get energy restored before today's intense warm-up. Plus, protecting your pets from foods to fireworks to heat stroke. 5 on Your Side breaks down how to avoid the top dangers for your pets during the 4th of July.